So now we will see the last session of this Git and its use in Galaxy.
Okay, there are no questions, which means I go to the Galaxy thing, how the Git is used in the Galaxy. Okay, so contributing GitHub with GitHub to the Galaxy. So yeah, this is an open source project with the GitHub. GitHub, what is GitHub? So GitHub is a website which offers, and you can create an account on the GitHub, and once you have an account you can participate in such a kind of projects. So one can create an account. I will not go into the process of creating the account, so you will be able to create that once you log in. You don't really require right now to log in into the GitHub. You can just check, and then of course this link is there. You can later look into that link and then do the things also. That should be completely fine. So right now it's most basically I would like to show how the things works, and then you can ask questions, and then of course you can yeah, if you have some questions. So we also have some Gitter links there. You can actually come and then ask questions in open forums. Of course there are many other open forums also for Galaxy. I will try to show those links also, so you can ask over there. So yeah, GitHub, as I said, like what we were trying to do, all the Git commands, this on the website also you can do many things, the same similar things, but the repository what you have on the local computer, we also have a repository on the cloud which is maintained by the GitHub. So now how to manage that one, how to use and manage those things, that we will try to see here. In this right now we see how to fork, the fork which I said, which is like completely getting the complete main branch like this as a copy into the fork, as a fork. This is the fork. So you can clone the remote repository, whatever is available, and then you can create the branch, commit changes, and commit changes, create branch, clone a remote repository. We will see that how the command is. Push the changes to the remote repository. So when you say push the changes, that will also, there is a picture you can show, and create a pull request. I will try to see if that's a possibility, a live environment with the pull request. If that is a possibility, if that's also possible, I will try to do that, and update the pull request. So these are the things we will try to see now. Forking a copy is forking a copy means it's basically creating your GitHub repository in the GitHub space. So clone your GitHub repository onto your system is with the command, and which will get complete copy of the code or the project into your local system with the repository, the complete Git. So the .git folder what we had under the when we initiate a project, the .git is the repository. That complete thing will come into your local system when you clone it. Then we can create a new branch. As I said, like feature branches you can create, make your changes to the branch and push the branch to the Git repository, merge back. Merge is the same thing, but here it's only merging into the branch into the GitHub original repository. So fork a repository. Let's see directly how the fork repository will look like. So let's go to this training material. So this is a project which the training material project is there under Galaxy project. So if you type training material Galaxy project, you will land here. If not, if you use this link also, you will get it. So I will just paste this link if you want to have a look on this. So yeah, this is basically the project, the main project. If you want to directly clone this, then you can click here and then use the clone link here directly. This is the link. You copy this link and you can clone it. I will show just now how to clone it, but this is the thing. But if you want to make a fork, then this is the point. So just increase the font. So here's the the fork button. If I click on this fork, then I will get my own thing. So right now, if you see here, we have under the username Galaxy project, and this is the thing. I already forked, which is why I will not be able to show that how this works out, but I will show how this is already existing. So I will go into my account. So this is the thing which is already forked. Right now, that's completely the same forked from this project. So the TrailUkit training material, and then it is forked from the Galaxy project training material. So you have this forked thing. So I have everything. Now I will try to clone this project. So which means I will clone my own fork into the local system. So I click code here, and then I use this link, SSH link or the HTTPS link. There are two methods how you can make an account and how you communicate with the GitHub. GitHub right now is recommending HTTPS. It used to recommend SSH before. It used to recommend both, but right now it's more recommending HTTPS. But there is no security issues or problems with the SSH. If you want to do, you can do with the SSH or HTTPS. I will not go into more details of this. I will give you the link, but it's completely fine which you do. But just for cloning, you will not need more details about it. So if you are managing into a kind of teams and other things, you need to understand how the HTTPS works, where you can give much more granular access to each person. So that gives a possibility. Right now, I just copy this link. I can copy by clicking on this link, and then I go to terminal. So I will just create another folder here. So I'm into the training demo. Now I'm trying to clone the project with the command git clone and the link which I copied. So I just paste that link here. Then I get the clone. It will take some time. It's a big repository. So it is trying to get all the objects of the repository and all the compressed objects, everything, the complete database. So this completely comes and will be present in your local system. Go back again to see some questions are there. No. So in this, you can also see all the branches in the GitHub. If you see here, all the branches also get listed. So if you get fork everything, then you get all the branches which exist in the main repository also. We'll go back to this thing while that's getting cloned. So this is getting cloned. So we will see here, we've seen the fork. We click that one, and we forked already, and then of course we cloned it. So what happened is right now from the upstream. So from the upstream, so whatever that exists in the GitHub, we call it as an upstream. And so the main project is upstream. Of course, the fork is also on the GitHub, and the main project is also on the GitHub. But the main project, we usually call it as an upstream. And this is now copied it to the fork when we created the fork. So when you created the fork, the master branch, future branch, all the branches will also come and sit into the fork. Now we did the clone right now. This was the link which we used. So let's see. Yes, this is done now. So now we go into the training material. Now we are in the training material, which has a branch main. if you see right now this tutorial is a bit older, which shows still the master, and this is now changed to the main. So right now it shows the main branch here. Branch minus a is the command which will show me all the branches which are available. So this minus a shows all the branches which are on the local are this one, and which are also on the remote in the sense these branches exist on the GitHub. These branches does not exist yet on my local repository. So these branches, only the main branch is there, and this main branch, if you see, is based on the remote's origin head. So the remote's origin is on the main, and that is where basically the origin main is also. It is the main head which is the right now status of the fork. That's where our main is there, and also we are also on the same branch. I want to take a pause if somebody has questions on this. Okay, so there seems to be no question. Fine. So let's go back to our presentation. So we went into the training material. Now you see, this is what we did. The clone basically made a local copy. So from the GitHub to the local copy. So now we can make our changes. So we can make our changes, and we can also create our own branches also. So if I want to create another branch, I can create my own branch. So here, like what we created before, is the same command we can use to create a branch, or also we can use the same. So same thing is here right now. So I copied this branch command. So I call it as demo branch. So now we created a demo branch. Now you see we are on the demo branch. And git branch will show that one. We can add files to our new branch, and we can commit also, which I don't want to do on this, because this is the project which if I want to do, I need to know what I want to do. However, I would like to show which I made some changes the other day. If you see here, as I said, this is still master, showing the master. I wanted to change the name, which I made the changes to the images. I have another folder where I did all those things. I will just show how does it look like. So yeah, so this is the training material which I have. I made some changes here with those images. I will keep changing these two right now to show the demo thing and also the real thing right now, what I already did some changes. So this in the tutorial, it's asking us to do some kind of changes. Assume that I already made some changes here to the files which exist. So there are many files here. If you see all the files, so all these are files folder. There are many under this. If I use the command t minus L2, so level 2, you'll see a lot of files. So all these are files and folders which exist under the training material. So if you see one folder called images, under which I made some changes. I think it's under this one. Yeah. So under that I made some changes. Okay, I made under the contributing. So anyway, the changes are already there. I would not go into detail right now on that, but there are some changes which I did on that my branch. So I'm just moving in two things. I'm going to repeat that. One is this demo branch. This is the demo training material which I'm trying to show here, and another one is this one where you see FG intro branch. This is the one which I created where I did changes. Since this is demo branch, this is only to show. I don't want to commit this one. with the changes I don't want to commit anything, but you can see the branch here. So let's go to the tutorial again. So it's basically I do some contribution and then I commit it. So the commit is the thing which I made here, some commits. So if I want to see the commits what I made, I can type log. You can see I made some changes in the numbers or the images are the things, adding new images. I fixed some typos, so those are the things. The fixed are the changes which I made, and which is the reason it shows here some things has changes here. What are these indicates? So I will also show with the status. If you see here, you have 61 and 1 different commits each respectively. I will come to the point what are that means. So this is the training thing, and I created the demo branch, and here we are on the demo branch. Okay, I made some changes on my own local environment. So now I made some changes on the local copy on my, which is called FG Intro 1. I created a feature called FG Intro 1. So this is my local copy new branch, and now I need to push it to the my fork or to the upstream. Okay. So this is basically I need to push my local changes to the fork first. So to my fork, which is on my branch. So to pushing it to the fork, I don't need anyone's permission because this is my own fork. This is completely my own thing. So with the push command, which is here, you see, I can do that. Git push and then FG intro. You can I need to give where I'm pushing. Sorry, yeah. Here, if you I will show that also first. There's another command which is keep remote -v. With this, you can see are the streams what are available. So I'm again coming back. What are the streams? As I said, like when I forked, this is my fork, this is my origin, and upstream is the real code what was developed. So I again go back to this image just to have an understanding. So this is my fork, and this is the original developers branch and all the branches. So this part on the right side, extreme right, dev and main are the upstream, and this is the fork with this method if you want to understand. And of course, in a blocker way, if you see here, this upstream and fork are both on the GitHub, and this local copy is on my computer. This I'm trying to push to my fork. Okay, and to know what are the remotes available, I can see here. So origin is the usually the main origin which gets as a default name, as a default repository name. Upstream is the one which is I also added the original code. So now in this I'm trying to push it to the origin because I'm trying to push it to my own fork. So it will be git push origin and then the branch name. So this is how I can push. Now it asks for the username and password, my GitHub username and password. So yeah, it failed to push. So if you see, there is some problem because there is some phosphor, so it rejected. So because for this what happens is I'm not into the latest form to my branch. So first I need to get the latest. So which means in between, while I'm doing my changes, there are also somebody made some more changes. So I have to try to incorporate those changes and also then put my changes. So if they both have some conflicting thing, then it will not accept. I have to resolve those conflicts and then do. So So if there are conflicts, then I will not show more details right now. If we don't have any conflicts, then we can go further on this. So for that, I need to get the changes what are there on the upstream. So for that, it's fetch is the command which gets all the upstream changes to my local repository. So there are some changes, but still they are not in my working directory. So I will show that diagram. That's a bit tricky. So I will to show that diagram which we were seeing. So here, right now, these are, so these are still in the repository area. When I do a fetch, it is only in the repository area. So it's not yet in the working directory area. So I might have seen the changes. I might pulled all those changes, got the changes, but it is still not available in my working directory. So if I still see the directory, it is still the same. Well, I will not be able to show what are the changes because you need to know the before changes. But what I'm trying to say is it is still in the repository, but not in the working directory. But now let's see what's the status. So this looks okay. So now I try to again push. Let's see if it accepts. Sometimes if there are no any problems in conflicting with the code, it will directly accept it. So origin, it's still not accepting, which means there are some different changes are there. I need to base them also. So for that, I will try another thing is with the base. So I need to rebase my main branch to the existing changes. This I know it's a bit getting more complicated. I completely understand. It's completely fine if you don't understand right now, because when you come to that point, you will definitely understand that. I want to show it on the diagram right now. So right now what is happening is I try to recollect everything. We had our fork. We are getting everything. We got everything from the main upstream. We have our fork, and now we made some changes. But meanwhile, I made some changes. In the main also some changes happened, and so I need to base this complete changes whatever is there according to that. So that is what is happening right now with this. Okay. Now it's rebased. Now we need to see, if you see here, there were before 61 changes and there are more changes came in. So now I'm rebased. So now I will try again if that works out. It still not works out. So I will not go more in this direction because this has to be conflict, has to be resolved. The problem where the files are happening, and then we can fix that. So I will go back to the tutorial. So this, and if we are able to succeed that one, then we can do a pull request. So this, if I was succeeded, then I will be able to see here a pull request which I can do. So let me see, which I made another pull request just yesterday. If this was there accepted, then it would be a possibility. So if you see, get intro 1 is still behind. I don't have a, if I have an option of pull request, it will be shown here. I will see, check another branch if I have that one. Also not here. So I have to resolve those changes whatever they have in. So after that only I will get this pull request. So how does it look like? So let's see on the images, not on the live thing. So basically, yeah, this is the problem right now we have. So this push is not happening because there is a conflict. So this is trying to push from the fork to upstream. So upstream is the main code. So both are on the GitHub. So we will have an option of like compare and pull request if it's a very normal changes. But if there are changes conflicting within one file, one of the code has to be accepted, then it has to be in detail has to be looked into that. I will not go into that in my code, but I will try to show how this looks like here. If once this is resolved, the pull request or the conflict, once it's resolved, then you'll get such a kind of dialog where you can say what are the changes you have done. Again, it's a kind of a commit you create, and you'll create a pull request. And once you create a pull request, then a person who maintains a code, so here you will create a pull request, and you will see all the pull requests will be available here once you make a pull request. And once that are accepted, there will be nothing here. So right now here nothing. So if they are still not accepted, then you will see kind of a list like this. And in the pull request, when you make, the code basically runs a lot of tests. There are around 500 to more number of tests are there, and when the tests are passed, then it will give a green OK, and then if not OK, then it is red color is given. So you have to wait again from the developer who is maintaining the develop branch, or the, let's say, main branch. They will communicate to you that such and such change has to be again rechecked, and if the recheck has been done, again we can commit again and then do the pull request again. But if the pull request, the tests are completely done, then it's accepted and merged into the master branch. So if this is done, then it will be pushed into the, from the fork to the upstream. So the merge is taken. Automatically everything is accepted. If they are not okay, let's see. So then the fork, it will again communicate this one, and again you will get that fork to the local copy. We clone it, or we will pull it basically with the fetch or the pull command, and then again do on the local copy required changes, and then again we push it. So here is basically we work on our fork and one branch, one feature. This is how, if we maintain, then it will be easier. And one pull request for one branch has to be done. That's the basic idea of doing. And be careful on doing the branch you're working. So just to if you confuse your branches, then it's, of course, it's difficult for yourself. So you need to be careful on which branch you're working and what you're doing, and check all the automated tests. So basically this is how the Galaxy development environment works. So I will go back to the questions. I know there could be a lot of questions. If something is not clear, I will take those questions. So any questions? Meanwhile, I try to do this repair thing. I'm just trying which branch right now I am, and then check out the main branch. So here. So I'm pulling again changes. Okay, I have another changes which I was trying to do in another tutorial. This was getting accepted now. Let's see if this works out. So I made some numbers changes in a tutorial. I'm just writing that one. I will replace this again to the main branch. That's look good. I think maybe this would work. Let's see. Okay, still it has some problems. Okay, after merging there's some more change which it automatically got resolved. So now it worked. So the push now it took. So and this changes. So I was on a different branch. So if you see, I had two different of changes I was trying to do. Before I will show again here. So I have main branch. There was some feature change on the GitHub, and another feature change was Git intro 1. So on the GitHub it did not accept. So there are changes which I have to still work on, and on FG intro 1 it worked. So now if I already pushed, and let me see if I go to the branch on the repository, if I see the pull request thing. Yes, now I see on this there is a pull request is a possibility. So this is how it will look like. Some changes. So now I will say compare and pull request. So yeah, I can see what are the changes I made. So these are the changes which I made, and now I can see I can give a brief description what I made changes and then create a pull request. So once I click on the create pull request, it will go through many changes. If you see many tests and everything. So these are the tests which will form as a kind of a queue. These are completely an automated process. And of course somebody has to accept it, so it will progress some checks and then will be updated. Once I will get a notification on that. Okay, so while this is going on, I will wait for if you have any other questions. If you're basically using in your own computer in a small project, what you try to do, you might not require so many branches and other things, but if it is a huge project, then usually it will have, and so anybody can contribute, so that's how it will work. So if you have kind of a better organizing structure, the code will always be knowing who has done the changes, then it will be easier. So this is for the training thing. So there is also other more repositories for Galaxy, for each Galaxy repository. So there the changes respectively you have to clone those projects. We'll go back here again. Meanwhile that's going on. A couple of more points. Yeah. So there are some links here. If you see, as I said, like you can create an account based on the HTTPS or the SSH. So these are the link. Yeah, you'll get the links in the chat. Here, these links you can use how to create your credentials for GitHub, via HTTPS or SSH. If you are using Linux, I would recommend you can go for the SSH, but if you are not using Linux, then I would recommend the HTTPS connection. But in Linux, both HTTPS and SSH are possible. And of course in Windows also it's possible, but it's a kind of a tricky in the Windows with the SSH. So you can create that account in whichever you like. So basically we all require these kind of commands: git clone, fetch, pull, and push. And what are the advantages with the HTTPS? As I said, like granular thing possibility, and if you have so it's kind of a granular possibility is there with the HTTPS, whereas with SSH granular access is not that easy. It's a kind of single access that will be there, and but it is a more easier whenever you make a frequent commits, that will be much easier on the SSH. Whereas in terms of HTTPS, which when you commit every time you have to make enter the password, and that's the thing. So it's a kind of doing every time, and so which is like in the HTTPS you use a token. With the, when you lose the token, then it's a kind of you have to recreate the complete thing. Whereas in SSH, if you're working in an organization where you are blocked with that some the project repository website, then you'll not be able to access with SSH. So yeah, here you might want to use HTTPS. HTTPS can be accessed in anywhere, but most likely in all the development environments, the GitHub is not blocked, so you can use it. Another point I want to say here, so there are several versioning systems. Git is very popular. Subversion is used to be an older one, which is like works as a kind of centralized repository. So Subversion looks like this. So every programmer is here when we are pushing. So this is like, let's assume Subversion GitHub thing, kind of a structure. So every programmer pushes it to the central repository. So if this central repository is not available, then all the four will not be able to access the code and use it. That becomes a bit difficult with the centralized repository. And whereas the Git is not a centralized repository, it is more of a distributed repository. So which means it looks like this. The repository exists at the programmer place and also on the online server, on the remote server also. So the repository, complete copy of it exists with the programmer 1 and 2, and also it on the central repository. So even if you're not online, if you're not having internet, you can still do all the commits, and when you have internet, just push it everything. So that should be fine. So it's basically you can do cloning, and of course if let's assume the server is completely down, you can actually clone from other user also, so from other programmer. So if there are four programmers, so from each person to another person also, you can program. Yeah, thanks Prashant. Yeah, you're there. So yeah, cloning can be done from remote server, from programmer to programmer, and vice versa. So it's basically the copy exists everywhere. So losing a copy or the code complete thing is extremely difficult. So it's not easy to lose the code in the Git environment. So if there are 1,000 users or the 1,000 developers, so all of them have the repository. So once you have, so any one person's repository is a kind of backup for the complete thing. Okay, so that's what I would say. You can ask questions in any of those languages.